All right, good morning. This is Lynx. I'm gonna show you something that I don't think I've talked about over the years in terms of doing tarot readings. And one of the things that I learned on my journey of people make assumptions about what you can and you can't do with the reading. And I think I've always talked about how, I'll try this, I'll try that, I'll try that, and I show people how to do something with the tarot, but I don't talk a lot about where the limits came in and then what I did about the limits. I mean, I talk a little bit about it, but I think people assume that I'm saying, okay, well, this way is the only way to do it. What I'm saying is that there are limits to tools. Okay, so let's say for example I got and of course there's going to be a lot of noise now because I'm having my morning coffee outside, and I thought I'd do that.
How you doing?
So let's say we got a situation where a woman's like, okay, let's say she's in a relationship, and you're in a situation where there's difficulty, where there's a challenge, and I'm going to show you a trick right now. I'm going to make up a trick right now. Okay, so what's the real core of it? So a woman's in a situation where she's challenged with her husband. Okay, so she got the World, and then we got the Ace of Cups, and then what's this one? This one's the King. That's the Prince of Disc, right? Oh no, that's the Prince of Disc. Okay, so let's say this woman's in a situation where she's overwhelmed by the demands of the world, and she's worried about her child. Okay, so that's what's going on in this situation. So so this is a situation. So we read it, and someone's like, "Well, what's going on in my relationship?" Well, she tells you it's a bad relationship, and you're like, "Okay, well, she's overwhelmed by the demands of the world and what it would take to change her situation." And then this is coming in as the overwhelm, and then her child is the piece of it. Okay. So then the trick is I'm going to ask, well, what's the real core of the situation here? All right, what needs to be changed? So we want to go, what's the real core of the situation? Okay, success. All right, so she hasn't found her inner way to success yet, because if she were successful, she'd be able to manage this situation and this concern and this worry without problem. But she's not. She doesn't find herself being successful or prosperous or able to make an exchange, a value for value exchange for what she needs. So the wealth is limited because she can't make the value for value exchange to get out of this situation, to be able to care for or protect her son or herself in this situation, in this relationship. Okay, and this is just a hypothetical. Okay, so what's the core of it? Well, so now we know, right? So, and all of you who are tarot readers or read for people, well, then they're going to say, well, what do I do now? And this is the point, is that this was the point that I got to in my own development, was that I'd use these and I'd figure out all sorts of ways to find the problem. But then it's like, well, what do you do for the solution? And you can ask the tarot, what's the solution? Well, what's the solution? Luxury. Okay, so this is the, what do you call it? The Thoth deck, right? So we got luxury here. So what's the solution? There's several things coming up for this. So she's not seeing. So she's addicted. She's addicted to the circumstances that she's in. That's the first. So there's an addiction there that needs to overcome. So I'm afraid of losing what comforts I have. The second thing is she's not seeing the opportunities that she has or her own gifts. And the third thing is that she's not looking at this as a way to motivate her to become something bigger. And that's the real crux of it. The real crux of it is that this is actually a gift to motivate her to be able to find this thing which creates success and allows her to be able to do whatever exchange she needs to do in life. Wealth. Best definition of wealth I've ever heard is, wealth is being able to get what you need when you need it. That's wealth, okay? And we get all twisted with that. We think that it's something else. So now what? Okay, well, she's not seeing this as the opportunity. Now what? And this was the problem that I had when I first started doing readings, was that I realized that you had a moment where you're going to have to do something else now beyond the cards. Otherwise, all you're doing is sitting and fantasizing with the cards, which is why I think a lot of people struggle and then don't know what. This is not the end. This is just a tool. This is not the be all end all. This is just a tool. So I could show you all sorts of ways to go in and clairvoyantly look at the situation, but that doesn't matter. There still has to be an action that's taken at this point, okay? So this is why I started going, okay, well, I need something else. And this is when that's when I went and took hypnosis, and I started to learn hypnosis, because I said, well, at least I need to figure out, well, if there's a pattern in this case and I'm not seeing my potential, well, then what? How do I do this? If this were me, I'd be like, well, I would probably need some way to get this done. The cards aren't going to do it for me. And people can pray, but that didn't work. I grew up in a situation where they were all like, well, just pray. It didn't, no. You have to take action. So, that's when I went down the pagan path, and there was, witchcraft and stuff like that. That works, but it comes with a price. There's an exchange for everything you do. There's an exchange. You get something, then you pay for something. So then I said, okay, well, I'm gonna learn hypnosis. So I did hypnosis. I learned hypnosis. That gave me a whole bunch of new tools. Then I went down the road of Reiki, and I thought, it's not doing anything. But that led me to go looking in the East. And I was looking for other opportunities and other ways to be able to find solutions. So the point I'm trying to make is there comes a point where this can use as a tool to diagnose a situation or tell you what's coming. But if you want to make the change, that's the point where you got to go deeper. Okay? So what are the other tools that you need then? And then you could say, what are the other tools? Prince of Cups, King of Wands, Fortune. All right. So in that case, I would say being able to manage the emotional state enough to be able to take action to make fortune happen. So that tells you, but you still now have to take action and do that and go down that road and apply that solution. How do you do it? In the playing card class that I'm teaching, in the advanced playing card class right now, I'm teaching the students how to use the playing cards to create a process that you then follow. But if you're hung up on something, on a habit, let's say that what's the habit that's hanging me up on it? Oh, well, I want to be involved in a romance. Well, then you're going to have to stop that to get to the other thing first. You see what I'm saying? So you can find out what your ego is doing to hang you up, but at some point you're going to have to apply some kind of solution, some kind of tool to fix it. That's what I'm saying here, okay? So at some point you got to leave the cards and start to apply solutions. These are great for figuring out, like I said, this situation. Now I got the situation, but at some point you got to look at the solution. So I even looked at the solution. I was like, okay, well, these are the steps I need to take. So when I work with people, I always go, okay, this is what's going on, and depending upon whatever divinatory thing I use, I go, well, what's going on? What then can we do to find the solution? Which is why I like cosmology and why I use Tibetan Bon astrology, because they tell me exactly what the deeper level is. And for those of you who saw that thing that I did about my arm, my shoulder wouldn't move, and it's all but cured now. And I did use a whole lot of tools to figure out what was karmically causing that, but then there were certain things that I had to do to actually fix that, and the cards weren't going to do for me, and I didn't really use the cards to figure it out. I used other tools to figure out what the karmic habit was. What I'm saying is there comes a point where the divination has to be set down, and you have to start to apply other tools. That was exactly why I started down the road of looking at hypnosis and looking at the mind, because I wanted to figure out how you could how the mind was at work and what you could do to change the mind so you would not be inhibited anymore. Anyway, I'm Lucky Link. So you could try this. What's really at the core of it? What's the situation? What's really at the core of it? What really needs to be changed? But then you got to start some other processes where you go, well, what do I need to do in this situation? So in the case of the woman, what do I need to do? Well, the first thing you need to do is stop letting people steal your energy, because you need to apply that energy to a solution. See? So I'm Lucky Links, as always, wishing you success and good fortune in all that you do. I hope this makes sense, and I hope that this helps you. Let me know in the comments below. And if you like these videos, subscribe and hit the little notification bell. Also, if you like these and you want to donate to help keep them coming, tell me what you want to see in tarot. Tell me what you want to see in divination. Tell me what you want to see, and I'll come up with a way to show you guys. If you want to get a reading from me, 779-302-8009 or conjurehope@gmail.com. If you want to take a class, contact me in how to read tarot. I got two. I got a beginning and I got an advanced. Let me know. 779-302-8009 or conjurehope@gmail.com. You guys have a fantastic day.